All right, gentlemen, next up we have Vance versus West Forsyth.
Yeah, I just don't know how it's tough. I mean, Vance was rewarded for great play. They played a tough Butler team, won 21-0. They come here and play a game of the year type game, beat Mallard Creek, and now they have to go up to West Forsyth to play a tough West Forsyth team. I hope they take care of business, but it's gonna be a tough fight. I mean, I think early on this year, West Forsyth was really one of the bigger surprises this year, especially with their running back and their huge line of I smacked around a couple IMAC teams, and I think that really got them on the map and on the radar, and everybody understood that this was a team to be reckoned with. Then you looked and saw with the rankings how they were a team right there. I think they're the 3 seed with the one loss to, I think it was East Forsyth by a touchdown.
No, they lost to Davie.
Oh, that's to Davie? Okay, okay. But even still, I mean, we already talked about that Winston Conference being just a who's who round robin of upsets. But that, that kind of shows that, that they're going to be a tough team. And I mean, I hope Vance is ready to go. Think it plays into Vance's hands by being a run-first team that they have to face here. But how do you maintain that level of physicality for this many weeks?
I think it's a dangerous game for him. Not gonna count him out. Not counting my boy Hack out. I think me personally, I was talking about when I came in, it's Huff all over again for them, and it's a chance for them to redeem themselves against 2 great backs. Both of them backs. Everybody talk about that one back, 1 in 4.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Are pretty good. Vance secondary. I think they, unless they play, unless the results of the Richmond County and Myers Park game, based on that, I think they got favorable matchups for him.
Agreed, yeah.
And I think he could go back playing just cover 1, cover 0, and just go on blitz. And I think if I was him, I'm stacking the box, and I'm gonna make them beat me throwing that ball. I don't know, that quarterback could throw pretty good. I saw some of the stuff against Glenn. I was impressed with that. Glenn's a tough defensive team.
Well, we saw that with the Ridge game, so we know Glenn's got a tough defense.
So, plus that running back, the fast one, I forgot his name. He's from West Forsyth. He got banged up in that Reagan game.
That was what I heard as well.
So
maybe a little bit of fortune, and I think that's kind of one of those those things Vance has been able to experience. But for me, it's comparing, and I was talking about this today, and it's comparing the runs. I mean, of course, a lot of people after the Mallard Creek game are saying instantly, "Oh, state championship, definitely." But you really have to look at the run. I mean, it's not even just stay humble, but this is a lot. I mean, you talk about where they were last year. I would say with a much better offense last year, with the same defense, maybe if not a little better in certain spots. What would we say? Last year they played, was it Northwest, Guilford, Archery Kell, and Puff, and then Myers Park on Wake Forest. I mean, you compare those teams and then think about if they were to potentially go the same route. You're talking Butler, Mallard Creek, West Forsyth, and Richmond or Myers Park, and then having to go play Wake Forest. That's one of the most insane runs in history. I mean, you've got to put that up there as one of the most insane runs. So my question really just for this game is, yes, I believe they can, this plays into their hands. A run-based team, that's something that they can match physicality, but how do they come out? That to me is a bigger question.
I agree. Like I said, I'm not going to count Vance out because I think I posted out on Twitter, when you got a team that's talented and they love each other and their coaches, and they go out there and play for that whole community, it was like they were playing for a whole community. I feel like I was back at Charlotte.
That's right though.
I feel like
that's how Harden played in 2017.
That fan base was behind him. They were behind the coach. I never seen that before since I was in school, and they're dangerous. The offense, I think they learned a lesson. I think 5's gonna be back there a lot more. I think you don't see 7 every receiver. I think you don't start seeing some more. Morris and 5 back there. We saw that one time more, and that was dangerous because Morris, he's a home run threat too. And Greg can make the throws. You give him time. That was a talented D-line he went against. Mallard Creek D-line.
I was about to say, I don't think you'll see that D-line. That's
so looking at West Forsyth, they play a 3-3. 3-3-5 looks like their base defense against more spread formations, which is what Vance, mixes in. that kind of defense, how does Vance attack it with their personnel?
But it's an important thing to note. Yeah, but it's an important thing to note. The two games that they struggled with this year, or we know, Mooresville, Lake Norman, what do they run? 3-man fronts, 3-4, 3-5, 3-3 stack. That has been something that's been their kryptonite, which is another reason why it's like, all right, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how they're going to feel. I mean, we saw some of their most struggles offensively against that. But, no, I think what you were saying was on point. I mean, that center.
He's on the center. And what's Forsyth? They got legit nose tackle.
Huge.
That dude like 6'8", about 305. I said, good Christ. You know, I had that kid. We run 3-3-5.
No, exactly.
You know, because it's slants. You don't know it's a slant. They just don't slant. It's slant left, slant right. You might see a little twist every now and then. You might see them walk that outside backer down, and you got that edge run. It's a hard defense, but me and Coach Grice to tell me the truth. If I'm the offensive coordinator, I'm putting a lot of stress on my center. My center got to have a great game blocking. He got to kick that nose tackle out, and he don't have to be great. I don't know this center Vance, but it's don't. You don't know who's coming. Like if they'll stay that 3-man front, you don't know that Will linebacker or that Sam linebacker coming. You just don't know it because it's just slant left, and then I'm gonna bring that linebacker right off that in that B gap. And you know, it's just playing football, and then if they playing a real 3-3-5, they playing quarters behind it or something like that. So,
no, I think you're absolutely right, and I think the bigger thing with that, like you said, is one, you can send 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 on any given play, and it doesn't change your initial look. That's one of the big things there, and I mean, knowing and trying to compare them to a similar opponent with Mooresville, Lake Norman. That was something I thought Vance struggled with. I mean, watching them play those teams, I mean, they had those issues trying to determine, and even, Greer at times seemed to, struggle with those linebackers and the underneath coverage. And I mean, I think, especially with a good nose, that really helps because, like you talked about, Coach did with the slanting and having guys occupying various gaps and you not knowing where, it puts that onus in the beginning of the game, especially for a team that that gave out a ton of sacks in that Mallard Creek game. How do they respond? I mean, are they able to kind of refocus, get everything together and then come back and make something happen and stay disciplined within their assignments? Then you can start seeing that success. But if they kind of struggle in the ways offensively they did against the other three fronts that they've seen with Mooresville, Lake Norman, what are we going to see offensively? Is it going to be the same anemic offense that's
great week for trapping counters?
Yeah, no, and that's it. I mean, I think run game wise, I mean, with Coach Sneed there on the O-line, and I'm sure from watching some of the tape and some of the great things they do offensively with their run game, I know he's in the building having conversations about running some different things. Like quick tip: if you see Buck Sweep come out there, Coach Lash, Coach Sneed having something to do with the run game that week. That's definitely a staple of those two, and I expect to see it. Not to give away.
I was calling for it. Mount Creek. Buck Sweep time.
Yep. So those guys do a great job with the run game.
Secret sauce.
That's just a little here being a guest host. That's a little bit of the little dash there, but West Forsyth's relying on us for that. They're in trouble, but. I think that's gonna be the fun thing to see.
I think trapping, counting, some pinning, pulling. That's what you do against 3-3-5. Being defensive coach, you gotta know that line. You gotta know what you're gonna see right there. And I'm that DC. I'm slim. I'm not going. I'm slanting. I'm sending one of them inside backers. I'm sending one of them inside backers. And I'm sending one of them outside backers. That I know I can play with them receivers because. Let's be honest, we haven't seen that deep threat right now. They're not putting, that's why I say it's a great week for 7. If you got 5 and then you put Morris, who is a speedster, you put him in receiver and just let him go and just, that seam's don't be hard to hit that seam because they don't be sitting right there. So
yeah, I mean, I think one guy to watch, and like I pointed out, those comparing against those type of defenses. Watch 15, Mekhi Riley. He had a huge game. I think it was against Mooresville. Lake Norman, I think he did some great things too. This could be a week that you see him, you see him get off. Kind of a quiet game, of course, against Mallard Creek.
I think he's the one who caught the seam route, right? He's the X. He's the X.
Yeah, he usually plays slot.
A lot of slot.
I can't remember what.
Well, it's your week. He's very talented.
I think that's your under the radar look this week though. I think he's gonna have a great game.
Yeah. All right, and me and Brandon will be there.
So, there we go. See if I
there it is. Thanks, guys.